and we have to be patient and wait for 1 or 2 minutes to have that final result confirmed.
后速修正关机。后速修正关机。长江6号跟踪正常，遥测信号正常。长江6号跟踪正常，遥测信号正常，北京飞行正常。
What we have heard so far is that the tracking has been saying the mission has been good so far. When they're going to do some maneuvering,
Right. Just adjusting.
Adjusting the posture of the spacecraft.
Right.
Well,
Separation.
we can now. This is the separation from the rocket.
Marvelous.
Now lunar orbiter Chang'e-2 has separated from the rocket. And now it is on its way to the moon. So your part of the work has been successful, which is the rocket part. We have already sent lunar orbiter on its transfer orbit. The Long March rocket has finished its job.
Right. Just after the launch vehicle lift off from the launch pad till the separation.
It is a perfect liftoff. We have seen it. Now, all the responsibilities is being passed to the command and control center to monitor and control the work of Chang'e-2 orbiter. So, in the time to come, in the coming week, there are several things to be done for the orbiter. What are those things, John?
Well, I'm sure they will do tests of the various instruments to make sure all of the instruments are working properly. The next critical step really is the injection into lunar orbit, and that's 5 days in the future.
The injection of the orbiter into the lunar orbit.
Right. If it were simply left to follow its present path, then it would pass by the moon but would not be captured by the moon.
And now this Earth to Moon transfer orbit, how long does it take to finish that?
The orbital period for that orbit is 10 days, and you want to follow the orbit halfway around to get from Earth to Moon. So it's about 5 days.
So it's half of that circle. It's just 5 days to get to the moon, and then it should be captured by the moon.
That requires the use of that injection engine.
When the injection engine works, what will it do to the orbiter? It
Basically what it does
slows
is
down,
slows it down
the orbiter?
Yeah, so that the moon's gravity can capture it.
And why is it important to slow down to a certain speed and a certain angle? Why is it important?
Well, we have a gravitating body here, and if we approach it, and as we approach it we speed up, and as we go away from it we slow down. Okay? It's symmetrical. So with whatever speed you had when you approached it at great distance, you'll have that speed again over here. So you speed up and then you slow down, just coasting by due to the gravity of the moon. But if you don't want to do that, you don't want to slow down and speed up. You want to slow down and stay captured. So you slow down a little bit more, and you get captured by the moon, and then you go around the moon repeatedly.
What is the technical challenges for us to do that?
The engine has to fire the right amount in the right direction. The engine thrust is well understood from experiments, so the timing is a critical issue.
So the timing is critical. When it is going to slow down, and how much?
When it fires, how long it fires, and the precise direction that it fires.
Now, what you are seeing now is in the Beijing Aerospace Command and Control Center, already Chang'e-2 has separated from the rocket, which carries it into the orbit. Now is on its way to the Earth to Moon transfer orbit, which will about take 5 days to get to the moon, as John just mentioned. When the injection period begins, it is another test of the mission. Whether it will work or not depends on the slowing down of the orbiter.
One of the Apollo missions to the moon actually departed at a speed above Earth's escape velocity. So if it had passed the moon, it would not simply have passed by the moon, but it would have left for an independent orbit around the sun. It would have left the Earth-Moon system.
So there is no way that we can get it back if that happens.
That's right.
So this is quite risky. If you don't control...
If their engine didn't work, they couldn't survive anyhow. So all this does is it makes the trip to the moon a little shorter.
Okay. Okay, now let's get back to our reporter Han Bin, who has been standing by at the Beijing Aerospace Control Center. Well, already 30 minutes past the liftoff. It seems that we have a perfect liftoff. Han Bin, what is the latest from the Aerospace Command Center? What are they saying about this mission?
Hi, Zhou Yue. First, I have to say it is a good news that you just mentioned. Everybody knows is the separation of the satellite and the rocket, and that means the Xichang satellite launch has concluded its mission, and now the satellite is under the command and control in the Beijing Aerospace Control and Command Center. And to get an expert view, we are lucky to have Mr. Tang Geshi, a senior researcher from the center, to talk to us. And Mr. Tang is also an expert in the orbit calculation. So Mr. Tang, from the graphics maps here, could you tell us briefly what is the current status here and what is the next important point?
Yeah, we can see from the big screen, the Chang'e-2 is flying over the South Pacific Ocean. According to the orbit parameter calculated by Flight Dynamic Group of BACC, the Chang'e-2 satellite is injected in the transfer orbit to the moon. Its perigee is about 200 kilometers, and the aperage is 360,000 kilometers. The solar array will deploy in several minutes. It is very important for the satellite because the power is come from the solar array.
Well, there should be several key points that the staff here, including you, should do the orbital corrections. And tell us how important the orbital corrections and when and where would be the most important and difficult one.
Yes. During the journey to the moon, there are several corrections. We call the trajectory correction maneuver. We prepared several maneuvers for the Chang'e-2 to control the Chang'e-2 satellite to inject it to the correct orbit into the moon, around the moon. I think the most difficult correction it is the third time correction, because the satellite is go far away from the Earth, and it is difficult to determine the orbit. So it is difficult to budget the correction velocity.
Well, this is a huge challenge for the Chinese tracking and control system, and China has not yet accomplished its thorough deep space exploration system. So how important is the international cooperation in helping Chang'e-2 finish its mission?
Yes, this time we also use USB and the VLBI system and cooperate with ESA, the ground station. ESA ground station, when the satellite go out of our country, or when it is not passed by our ground station, we can use the ESA station to tracking our satellite.
I also know one of the key missions of the Chang'e-2 is that there is a new band called X-band. Tell us in simple sentences, what does the X-band mean, and how is it important to the future exploration?
Yeah, we are test X-band TDC system in Chang'e-2 mission. X-band TDC system usually used in the deep space network because it is in higher frequency, so it can carry more information and can get more precise tracking message. We are building our deep space network, so it is a good opportunity to test our X-band TDC system.
So, Mr. Tang, I think, if I'm not wrong, China is building the X-band, and the X-band would be very useful for its future deep space exploration. It will help China to upgrade its capabilities in the future, right? Thank you very much for your time. And also, I think in 1949, the UN has an agreement to explore the moon, that giving the rise to every country, but only for the peaceful purposes. I think both China and the rest of the world, they have the right to explore the deep space, but also got the obligations to share their final achievements to the people on the earth. Back to you, Zhou.
Okay, thank you, Han Bin. Thank you for reporting from over there. And congratulations to all the people who have been making this possible. Well, one of the key scientific objectives of Chang'e-2 is to get clearer images from the moon, and this will be realized through the ground research and applications system. And our reporter has been taking us to the heart of this crucial system there, and we can also see China's first lunar picture sent back by Chang'e-1, which was sent 3 years ago.
This ordinary-looking building is actually the headquarters for the Ground Research and Application System of Chang'e-2. In fact, it's one of the key centers for the whole project, setting out all the scientific objectives and processing the data sent back from the moon. It also the final research results will be coming from. Getting into the database for Chang'e-2. These computers are the servers and hard disks of the Ground Research and Application System. The data from Chang'e-2 could be 2 to 3 times more than the previous mission.
All of the equipment is used to catch data received from the Chang'e-2. They provide a supporting system which includes telecommunications, networks, hardware and software, as well as copies of the data.
Simulation practices are held before the real test. The center sends instructions to the payloads on the satellite to carry out scientific work. All the data will be collected by the 2 extra-large receiving stations in North and South China. After a delicate procedure, all the data will be restored into its original form that mirrors the actual objects on the moon. Li Chunlai shows us China's representation of the moon. He says China is the first country to have made a complete moon globe. They have given the moon a Chinese color. Yellow reflects the height of the land.
The moon globe is the latest achievement coming from the data sent back by China's first lunar probe. It contains the best work of scientific tests of Chang'e-1.
The observatory's chief scientist for the ground application system is Ouyang Ziyuan. He says this system is based on Chinese technology and innovation.
China has accumulated rich experience